Right, I think we are live. We'll give it a minute or two for everybody to filter in, and then we can jump right into it. I am Nick Cundari from Reconstruct. We're going to be talking about the ABCs of college construction, college campus construction. Figured bring it back to a classic for some higher ed construction on this one. So, like I said, we'll give it a minute, and then we'll jump into it. I think we're just about ready to go. So, to quick intro, thank you all for attending this webinar with us. Welcome in. This is going to be covering some of how Reconstruct can help with some common problems that we see throughout higher education construction projects, along with just some general information about Reconstruct and some specific examples of other clients that we work with in the higher education industry. Um, at the feel free to add questions at any time. There's a chat box, I believe, in the bottom right or on the right side of the screen where you can type through any questions you might have, and we can address them at the end to make sure that we answer any thoughts you guys might have. A little bit of background about myself. My name is Nick Cundari. I am a customer success manager at Reconstruct. So, what that kind of means is that I am assigned to different clients to make sure that they get the most out of our product, along with training them, answering any questions they might have, and resolving any technical issues as well that they might encounter. My personal background, I've worked on large scale commercial and residential projects throughout the industry, and a lot of different departments and industries specializing a little bit more on steel MEPs and elevators. That's kind of been my department. Um, and then a little bit more about just who is Reconstruct in general. What we do is we essentially incorporate all sorts of data through reality captures, photos, videos, 360 photos, laser scans. We incorporate that with your drawings, your BIM models, and other elements alongside your schedule to create a 3D virtual reality model that allows you to get a direct comparison of what is there and what should be there, and really get a lot of value without having to necessarily be on site to get it. So we have a lot of experience with a ton of different clients. Some of our particular higher education clients kind of run the gambit throughout kind of the country, from all the way from USC out on the West Coast, VCU out on the East, the University of Illinois. We actually have a great relationship with. That was where our co-founder Monty teaches as a professor. So we have a lot of great connections in that industry and throughout those environments. So first, kind of what I want to start off with is what we see as some real common problems throughout higher education and on-campus construction. Um, Firstly, comes before construction even starts. A lot of the times, older buildings, campuses that have been around for centuries, decades, they don't have proper as built. Maybe you have some drawings from 40 years ago that have been marked up by your operations team, or uh, you might not have anything at all. This could be super common, throughout a lot of industries, but especially kind of in the higher education industry. Uh, Another common problem can be that on-site visits sometimes aren't on the budget. Engineers and architects can get a little expensive coming to site, especially if they have to make frequent visits for a certain problem or a certain issue that you're having. And a lot of the times they're not permanently based on site, so you need to kind of pay a little bit extra to have them come to site. And then when you do have to bring them onto site, it can be extremely difficult to arrange that timing. A lot of the times you have to work around certain classes, certain events, other on campus celebrations or other things that could be going on that can really interfere with some of the work that's happening on site, and can really get in the way of that collaboration. So where do we kind of come in? And this is a little bit more of the ABCs. It felt really apropos to go back to the ABCs for the solutions that we can present. For A, always have an as built. There's a real easy process for taking a capture of a space, whether it's before you've started any work or whether you've just finished some work. Um, you can take a quick capture, a reality capture of an area, and generate a 3D model that can and a 2D model that can then be used to build a BIM model for an as built, modify drawings, create drawings, and so you can always have an as built for whatever building you're looking to either maybe plan some future work for or document some work that's already been done. For B, we bring design back to reality. And what that means is you have these real life captures, this real life representation of what's going on your site, the actual work that's being done, where things are being placed. It's a great QA tool to then take that reality and directly compare it to your floor plans, your design drawings, your BIM models. You can incorporate your schedule. There's a lot of ways to now not just verify that the work on site is progressing, but that it's progressing in the way that it's intended to progress. And finally, for C, it's come together with collaboration tools. And this is kind of really at the core of what Reconstruct does is it allows for that collaboration across the country, across different companies, on a web-based platform where you can just log into a website and you instantly have access to all of this reality data, these BIM models, drawings, live photos, uh, these all of this data is now available to you even if you're you know based in New York and your project's in California, or let's say your engineer is in Florida but your project is in Maine. You can instantly get this collaboration and on a daily basis without having to fly somebody out or sit in a call with no visual representation or have to describe someone or email them some still photos. It allows for that collaboration on a much more instant level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of break down each of these ABCs kind of in with some more specific examples of projects that I've worked on, along with a little bit more details on how we can operate with these sort of solutions. The first for A for always has an have an as built. You can see here in these two images, actually, in the top image, you can see what we call an orthographic photo. So taking a capture is really simple. It involves a 360 camera walking around the site in a nice deliberate pace. You can utilize our capture app or just using the camera itself. And what we do is we take that 360 video at the end of your capture and we generate not just a 3D model, but also this 2D orthographic floor plan. And this orthographic floor plan can then be directly compared to, say, you have an old drawing from uh, the 80s. This is actually one of my projects that I worked on. They had drawings from the 80s. They had no idea whether the actual on site representation matched at all. But they wanted to have that comparison and then modify their drawings so that for future work they could make adjustments as needed. Um, so what they ended up doing was taking a capture, overlaying their drawing on top of it, and then in the actual tool you can mark up and take screenshots and make adjustments, so that now you have at the end of it they can generate a proper set of drawings from it. At the bottom, you can see this is actually from one of our projects with BCU. You can see this is the inside of a science building that they're working on. and the 3D model is actually overlaid directly on top of the 2D drawing. And this again allows you to now directly compare things and start to make sure that things are being in the proper place. And at the end of your project, you can take that modified drawing or you can take your reality model, generate a BIM model off of it, and utilize it for operations, for future work, or just to go back and reference, hey, where is that electrical conduit actually located behind that wall? Or where does that pipe run? Or where's that girder? And actually go back and have that information just by taking a single capture kind of at the end of your project and utilizing that BIM model as well. Another great use case for Reconstruct is, like I said, being able to bring design back to reality and really sort of get an accurate representation of the work that you're doing, not just is progressing, but is progressing the way that you intend it to progress. And what you can see actually in these two pictures is again another image from that VCU, that STEM building that they're working on. And you can see the top is the BIM model, so the intended placement of everything, and the bottom is the actual image generated from the capture on site. And you could see the level of accuracy to it, where the uh, shelving is all in the proper place. There's the sink placement, and you can take that comparison and start to look at those items and verify them. Um, Along with that verification in separate elements, you can actually overlay your BIM models directly over your images. So what you can see in these two projects are BIM models being overlaid with an image. So after the capture is taken and uploaded and processed, you can then walk through your capture looking at the actual model itself in comparison to the images and being able to now verify to a certain degree of measurability as well, and saying, hey, look, here's where the door is supposed to be. I'm looking at the image itself on site from yesterday and it looks 2 inches off. We need to modify that. We need to catch that ahead of time so that you're preventing more costly mistakes down the line when you need to go and install that door. And all of a sudden now the gap is maybe 2 inches shorter than it needs to be. And the hundred or so doors that you ordered, none of them are going to fit in there, and now you have to open up that wall, redo that concrete, and redo that whole work. Saves you money and it saves you time at the back end of your project. Beyond that, you get the ability to kind of see through walls, and again get that design to reality comparison. For example, in that bottom picture, you can see there's actually some piping that's on the other side of that concrete wall. And now I can see, even through my image, I can verify that, say, for example, I need to drill a hole in that wall. I know where to drill to avoid hitting that piping behind it. And I can mark that out directly in Reconstruct, take a screenshot of it, and send it out to my subcontractors, my superintendent, my CM, whoever it needs to go to, and notify them of saying, like, hey, make sure that when you drill this hole, you're not hitting these elements. So you can get, again, take that design, take that reality, bring them together, and really get you a powerful quality check tool to utilize throughout the lifespan of your project. So you kind of get the bookends with your as builts, and then you really get the meat of your project in this design reality comparison. And another great usage for it throughout the lifespan of a whole project is coming together with our collaboration tools. Um, Beyond just a documentation software, Reconstruct is a collaboration software. No matter where someone is based throughout the country, internationally, they can log on and view the project. With a subscription comes an unlimited amount of users, so you can add your engineers, your architects, your subs, and give them access to this to be able to have them view it. Their office managers can view it. Their uh, engineering and architect teams themselves and their shop drawings can their shop workers can view it to make sure that they're marking things properly. And along with that, you can take screenshots, you can share images, You can share whole files by downloading them and spreading them to the rest of your team. Um, and that allows you to then really collaborate. There's nothing better in my experience, and this is from another project that we work on with the University of Iowa. Um, there's nothing better than being able to go into a weekly meeting, pull up some images of the site, and be able to directly walk through the site with your team, regardless of where they're located, without having to fly them out or bring them onto site or bring them into the office every day. It allows you to get that level of representation. You know, say someone works on multiple sites and you need them to be viewing one site, but they're at another for another important um, event or meeting an inspector or something like that. They can take their laptop, take 30 minutes, go and check the other site really quick on a capture that was uploaded that morning, and get information right across and right back into your team as soon as possible. And that really allows for that collaboration to not only become more efficient, but just to get better results. So I know kind of covered a lot in there, went through a bunch of different examples. I'm not sure if there's any questions. If there are, you can submit them in the kind of chat box on the right. And, you know, if anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot them out and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, so this one comes in from Jay. I don't have a big team. Who do I get to take captures and how long does it take? Yeah, so captures are really simple. There's a ton of different ways to do them, and they're all really quick. We like to say that whatever capture you're doing, it doesn't take a lot to get it done. So you can take captures through one of the most common ways is through 360 camera and through a 360 video. And what we like to say is you can cover about 1,000 square feet in a minute with a 360 video capture. So a large site can take 20 to 30 minutes or so to capture. And then if you capture in the morning, depending on the size of the capture you take, it'll be ready in anywhere from 45, 50 minutes to a few hours. And for team size, anyone can be trained in how to take a capture. It's something that we do. We take care of you and train you. And then beyond that, there's other methods of capturing, such as using your phone, just taking cell phone images, using a drone. There's all types of different capture methodologies that allow you to essentially take your captures while you're already doing your daily walks or your weekly walks on the site to better utilize your manpower. Let me see if there are any other questions. Hmm, see. Okay, cool. So I see, how's Reconstruct different from other reality capture solutions our team's trial Matterport? Yeah, so one of the key differences that we see especially when it comes to Matterport, is you get assigned a customer success manager when you sign a contract with us, when you get a subscription with us. Um, we work with you through the whole process. We're not just going to give you something and then say, okay, good luck. Let's see how it turns out. Beyond that, one of the proprietary uh, key features of Reconstruct is our measurability. We have a patent on measuring in 3D for point clouds. So what that means is that in other products, when you're taking a measurement on screen, you're taking it in 2D just on the image of the pixels on your computer. Whereas in Reconstruct, you're actually taking that measurement in 3D based off of the actual point cloud itself. And that's a proprietary um, patent that we hold that allows us to really differentiate ourselves from competitors. Is there a benchmark process to establish on ground up buildings to ensure that the capture and modeling is at the right spot on the site? Yeah, so We see a number of different ways for working from a ground up building. We actually, so the University of Iowa, one of my clients, they are currently ground up. They started as a hole in the ground and this is where drone captures can come in really well. Drone captures usually are inherently uh, have inherent GPS qualities. And what you can actually do is we can take that GPS data, incorporate it into our model, and then overlay it directly over, say, the Google Maps view of that area. So now you've got GPS precise uh, captures that you can then overlay additional captures on top of as things progress, and you add, say, 360 camera captures or laser scans or other items to it. So now you've got this very precise benchmark in either a drone image, or we are actually moving to a location based um, alignment feature that will essentially utilize that GPS capabilities early on by just being able to match certain features within your project site, ground up construction especially, to certain features on a GPS satellite image that then gives us again that safe benchmark to work off of. How easy is it to use drone? Yeah, it's super easy. I see it from a ton of my clients. I would say a lot of our users love to use drone imagery. It's super easy. We work with a lot of drone software like Drone Deploy and those sort of automated softwares. And essentially, you follow a set of instructions that we have in our help center and that we can distribute to anyone interested in it. That essentially follows a certain path that then takes those images automatically with your drone and your drone software. And then from there, you just upload the images onto our website. You can just drag and drop them right in. It generates a point cloud, and you'll have it within a few hours. All right. I don't see any other questions right now, but I just want to let you know we do offer a. Yep, saw one more just come in. So benchmarking can also be taken from surveys. Yeah, yeah, you can use survey data as well. We can incorporate survey data into your point cloud, and what we do is we actually have what we call tags. So the tags can be placed on projects, and essentially they work very similar to GCPs. You can survey your GCP, you can survey your tag, take that GPS location, integrate it into your model, and there you go. And then I see if there is GPS or some other way to benchmark. Do I have to do that every day? No, the GPS will just be in the beginning, and then what we'll do is we will actually align uh, your new captures to your previous captures, and kind of use that again. That benchmark stays in place, and then we can either work your BIM model to it if you have a BIM model, your drawings, and begin to sort of build off of that benchmark, so that it only needs to be done at the very beginning. All right, you're welcome. And I think those are all the questions I saw. We do offer demos. If you're interested in getting a demo of how our software works and some more information about Reconstruct, you can head to that web page there. It's also in the chat. It's reconstructinc.com/request dash demo. And then lastly, before we sign off, we want to just thank you all for taking the time to, listen to us and hear some more information about Reconstruct and how we can work with higher education clients. Coming up later this month, we're actually going to be having another webinar, a little bit more focused on existing construction and reality-based models. Thank you very much. We appreciate your guys' time, and hopefully we'll be in contact with you all soon.